throwing shit at the pilot. Niggas be broken, be sobbing, but still talking shit like they violent.
We all know that Kareem has the most points in NBA history. Bill Russell has the most championships. Ray Allen has the most threes. But there are other players whose stats are just nothing to what we expected them to be, or are just so hard to fathom. Here are 10 mind-blowing NBA stats / facts in no particular order. Every player behind Ray Allen and Reggie Miller in career threes. When you think of the most career threes in NBA history, you think of Ray and Reggie and then everybody else basically. When the other leaderboards for other stats would be filled with first ballot Hall of Famers, this stat is one of the few who aren't. Look at number 3 all time, Jason Terry. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Jet, but when you think of a guy who has the 3rd most threes in a career, I would be thinking Larry Bird, Steve Nash. Hell, the way Steph has been shooting the past years, I would have expected Steph to be already the 3rd most all time. But Jason Terry? Like, that's just surprising. You go even further down, Paul Pierce, Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Joe Johnson. You think of Kidd, you think of one of the greatest passers of all time. Vince Carter, the greatest dunker of all time. But to think of these guys as the greatest shooters of all time? Well, I just didn't expect that. The Lakers and the Celtics make up 50% of all NBA championships. The first NBA Finals was held in 1950, where the Minneapolis Lakers won in 6 games against the Syracuse Nationals, and the latest one was held in 2016, where we all know LeBron James went GOAT mode on the 73-9 Golden State Warriors to give Cleveland its first title. I really don't know why I went on to describe this year's NBA Finals. I really just didn't know how to start this entry, but basically what I'm trying to say is that there have been a total of 66 NBA Finals, once every year, and for 33 out of those 66, the winner was either the Boston Celtics or the Minneapolis / Los Angeles Lakers. You know the crazy thing too? The Celtics and the Lakers are only 1 championship apart, with my Celtics having 1 championship on the Lakers. The fact that exactly half of all NBA championships belong to 2 teams, and that those 2 teams are basically tied with 16 and 17 championships apiece? I mean, if you really want to go back, the last BAA champion was the Minneapolis Lakers, so they're really tied. It's just crazy. Michael Jordan's dominance in the 90s. Okay, look at my dude Legend of Winning's video on the greatest eras in NBA history, and it's the 90s, that's basically what he says. No era offers more Hall of Fame talent and all-time great talent more than the 90s. Hakeem, Shaq, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, David Robinson, Clyde Drexler, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, you name it, they had it. But the fact that in an era with so many Hall of Famers, so many greats, there was one guy who no one ever beat in a full 82 game season in a whole decade, and that is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was undefeated in the 90s when he played in the 90s. Every year he played a full season, he won a championship, and he played 6 years. It just shows the fact that as great as these other guys were, Michael Jordan was just on another level than these Hall of Fame talents. LeBron James' dominance in the 2010s. While Michael Jordan's dominance in the 90s was perfection, LeBron's dominance in the 2010s is the closest thing we will see to Jordan's dominance in the 90s in a long time. LeBron has been to the finals 6 straight times. Do you know how much it takes just to get to the finals? I don't care what conference he's in, it takes a lot. There are players that have all the talent in the world that have never or might never make it to the NBA Finals. Insert CP3, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, just to name a few. But to not make it once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but 6 times in a row is just unheard of in the modern era. To me, there are only a couple of players in NBA history that you can legitimately say that you put them on any team and that team will have a shot at an NBA championship, and one of them is LeBron James. Wilt Chamberlain. Yes, Wilt Chamberlain is his own spot on this list. I mean, what can I say about this man? It doesn't matter what era you're in, you play basketball for 48 minutes with a bunch of grown men and put up these numbers. 50 points and 25 rebounds per game in an 82 game season. Go ahead, do it. Literally the only way an NBA player could do that today would be if he was legitimately playing with little kids. While Wilt played with inferior talent, it's not like they were kids. I mean, these were grown men coached by other grown men who are the best in the world at that time. You know the crazy thing is? Wilt played 40 plus minutes per game his whole career. This god had a season where he averaged 48.5 minutes per game. How the hell you gonna average more minutes than an actual game? Answer me that. Like literally, what the hell, bro? Mike Conley's contract. Okay, let me go Stephen A on y'all and say that. Let me preface my statements by saying that I love me some Mike Conley Jr. and that I'm all about the players getting their money when it's offered to them. But to this degree, come on, man. $153 million? Really? The biggest contract in NBA history doesn't belong to LeBron, doesn't belong to Michael Jordan, doesn't belong to Bill Russell, doesn't belong to Tim Duncan, doesn't belong to Kobe Bryant, but to Mike Conley Jr.'s head ass. Nah, let me chill, but that's just insane. Stephen Curry's 2015-2016 season. Okay, once again, let me go Stephen A on y'all. Let me preface my statements by saying that this list is in no particular order, but can't we all agree that Steph's 2016 season is the greatest shooting season of all time? 402 threes in a single season, shattering his own record of 286, shooting 45% from that range, with most of it being pull-ups, while averaging 30 points per game and becoming the first unanimous MVP in NBA history, while leading his team to a 73-9 record, the best in NBA history. Steph was literally one possession away from having the perfect season. You could make an argument that if it weren't for one kick to the groin by certain someone, Steph really would be on the road to becoming arguably the greatest player of all time. Keyword, on the road, comma, arguably. Kobe Bryant's 81-point game. 81 points in one game. Just think about that with no context. 81 points in a 48-minute game that did not go to overtime. You'd have to nearly average one basket every minute, and that's assuming you played a whole game without a break. While yes, Wilt did have 100. As much as I made a point about Wilt going up against grown men, they weren't as athletic and as basketball smart as even the 2006 Toronto Raptors. Also mind you that Kobe only had 26 in the first half, meaning he scored 55 in the second half alone. 55, double nickel, 24 minutes. Come on. USA basketball has actually lost in the Olympics. Yes, I know, it's pretty surprising. The USA team lost in the Olympics? Well, this must have been before the NBA, right? Wrong. Well, they must have been using college players, right? Wrong again. I am talking about the 2014 with the likes of LeBron James, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, sure, this is probably the closest thing you're gonna see to a college level USA Olympic team, but still, Allen Iverson led Dikembe Mutombo's old ass to the finals against teams that had these players from the 04 team, but he couldn't lead a team with Tim Duncan, the greatest power forward of all time, a rookie LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade. I know they're rookies, but still, they're better than anything he's had in Philly. You know, I know it's not all Allen Iverson's fault, but I just find it funny and sad at the same time that he couldn't get the gold. Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals. Look, bro, I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm tired, man. These stats, too many numbers, too many what ifs in one video, but let me put it this way. You can react to it however you want to. Score tied going into the fourth quarter, and the Lakers shoot 27 free throws. I'm done.